Hey boss babes, it's Mo Nails, also known as Mo B, and I'm here with another video. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a long, extra long freestyle. Right now I'm going in with some cuticle prep. I always prep the cuticles, no matter if it's a fill or a full set. So I'm going in with a mixture of cuticle remover and water. I have it in like a dropper bottle, and I'm just going to let that sit on her cuticles to soften them up. In with a flame bit, a flame diamond bit, and I'm going to go ahead and push those cuticles back. I really love this bit. This bit really lifts those cuticles up and gets it nice and ready for trimming. Next, I'm going to be going in with the diamond ball bit. This bit as well helps lift those cuticles up, but this really pushes the cuticles up so that you'll have a perfect line and guideline of where to trim the cuticle. Everybody's prep process is different. However, this is what works for me. Some people don't like using drill bits in order to achieve cuticle prep. Some people like using a metal pusher or an orange wood stick to push the cuticles back. Some people use nippers instead of scissors. I think that is all up to the preference of the nail tech. So now I'm going in with my cuticle scissors, and I'm just going to be removing that cuticle. You will really be surprised how much dead skin is on your nails when you're getting your cuticles trimmed. All of that is dead cuticle that I removed from her nails. It's so essential for nail techs to trim cuticles. So now I'm just going to remove any of that cuticle remover and debris off of her nail with some alcohol and a manicure brush. Now we're going in with a mandrel and a fresh sanding band. Ladies, you want to make sure that you're using a fresh sanding band on each client. Sometimes we get away with using it, one every 2 clients, but to assure safety and you're not contaminating any items, you want to make sure that you use a fresh sanding band. So I forgot to turn on my dust collector, so I went ahead and turned on my dust collector. That's also a really important thing for ladies to use, is a dust collector, because that dust collector is going to suck up all of that dust. Can't y'all see as I'm filing how the dust is just going directly down into that vent? That's exactly what you want. You want to prevent your clients and yourself from that dust breathing it in and getting into your lungs. It could definitely cause health problems in the future. It may be expensive, but it's a great investment. When removing the shine from the natural nail, you want to make sure that you're using a fine or an extra fine grit sanding band. You don't want to use medium or coarse. Even though some people say that they use medium, I think that's just too coarse for the natural nail. You don't want to cause any damage. So here I'm just being a perfectionist, guys. I go in with my cuticle scissors or my nippers. If I see any like scraggly, pieces of dead skin or any leftover pieces of dead skin that I didn't get in the first round of trimming, I would definitely go back and get it. It's essential that you remove all dead skin from the nail plate and from around the cuticle, because that's 75% of the reason why the nails lift. Prep is 75% of the job. So if you're not doing your prep correctly, or you miss something when you're doing your prep, it's inevitable that your nails will lift. Now we're going to go ahead and get those tips on. Honestly, I think this is kind of like one of the most satisfying parts, honestly, sizing the tips and getting them glued on. Besides the cuticle prep. Cuticle prep definitely is satisfying too. Watching all of that dead skin come off. I know that might sound a little weird, but it's so satisfying to me. So now we're just going to go in and glue that tip on, making sure that we're sizing the tip from side wall to side wall. That's very important, because if you size the nail too small or too big, especially too small, it would definitely cause lifting. You want to make sure that that tip is reaching each side of the wall without any kind of space. And if you do have a tip where it's leaving a space, I recommend sizing up. I will always recommend sizing up versus sizing down. And if you size up and you're like, well, it's still a little bit of tip hanging off the nail, just go in with a nail scissor or a toenail clipper and remove a little bit of that side part off, or you can even file it off. Go in with the nail file and file the side wall of the nail tip down a little bit so that you can contour it specifically to that nail. So here I applied a nail tip, and I thought that the tip was a little crooked, so I just flipped the nail over to see if it was crooked, and it was. So what I did was remove that tip and re-glued it so that it'll be straight. So I went ahead and cut and shaped and also prepped the tips, blending the tips into the nail bed. Do you guys see how I blended those tips? Like, don't play with that girl. She is not one of them, okay? It's giving, it's growing out of her nail bed. So I'm going in with my Cover Pink acrylic. I love using a pink or a nude base when I'm doing any kind of full set, unless the client wants a encapsulation or some kind of permanent design of that sort. I love using the nude because it's just so like fetch. It's so cute, it's so girly. And I also have some of my clients that decide, I just want to do a top coat on the color acrylic because it's so pretty. So the key to getting a perfect bead is that powder to liquid ratio. Now everybody use different size brushes. Me personally, I like a size 12, 10, or even an 8. I really don't like using big acrylic brushes, but the bigger the brush, the more liquid you're going to be able to hold, meaning the bigger the bead you're going to be able to pick up. So you just want to be mindful of what size brush works for you. I also like using a bit of a bigger brush when it comes down to working with long nails like this. So I have my size 12 brush right now as I'm working on her nails, but with shorter nails I can do a 10 or 8. So what I'm going to be showing you guys on this finger is a one ball method. I'm starting the bead at the cuticle area and I'm lightly feathering it down, making sure that I'm tucking those corners in to keep the shape of the nail. So notice how when I sat the acrylic bead down on the nail, it came off effortlessly. That's how you want your application to start. If you're having problem with releasing that bead onto the nail, that means that you need more liquid. That doesn't mean dip your brush in liquid and tap the bead. That means get rid of the bead completely and start over. So as I laid my bead, I went in and contoured that cuticle area, making sure that I got that cuticle area nice and flush. So now I'm just using a lot of patting and feathering methods to get that bead all the way down. Now, even though this is a one ball method, if you need more than one ball, that is perfectly fine. The goal is to achieve laying a nail with only one bead, but if you see a part that's missing or a part that's indented or that you need to fill in, it's nothing wrong with going in and grabbing another bead and adding as many beads as you need. But just make sure you're not making the nail too thick. So here I'm going to be using a 2-ball method to achieve this nail. I'm going to be using 2 beads. I'm starting that bead kind of a little bit above where the tip and the natural nail meets. And again, I'm just feathering it down. So as you can see, it's kind of spreading out. I'm just going to tuck those corners in really nice and tight to make sure that I keep the shape of the nail. One thing I love about this Cover Pink and that I love about the brand that I use is that it has a self-leveling in the acrylic. So as you guys can see, the acrylic is just slowly gliding down the nail. So it's doing a lot of the work for me. It's so important to invest in products. I definitely understand that products can get pricey and they can get expensive, but sometimes, majority of the time, you get what you pay for. And it's so important to make sure you're getting the best quality so that you can give your clients the best quality and ensure their quality when they're getting their nails done. Now, for me personally, my clients only have to come get fill-ins every 4 weeks. Some clients go every 5 weeks. I even have clients that go every 6 weeks. I think that it's just tailored per client. However, my clients do not have to come to me every week or every 2 weeks. Majority of my clients, about 99% of my clients, it's every 4 weeks. And I can definitely thank that to not only my prep and my foundation, but my products. So I'm going in with that second bead. I'm laying it right there above the cuticle, and I'm making sure I didn't get anything on the skin. You want to lay it like as close to the cuticle as you can, and I'm just blending it in effortlessly. As you can see, I'm taking my brush, making sure I'm cleaning up, and that application is perfect. That was a perfect 2-ball method. So here again, I'm going in with another 1-ball method, and you can go as you please. If you want to do 1 ball on all of the nails, that's fine. If you want to do 2-ball or 3-ball method on some of the nails, that's fine. If you want to flip-flop them, it's perfectly fine, as long as you're getting that acrylic lay and you're assuring that the acrylic is not on the skin and that everything is nice and flush and the application is nice and flush. That's all that matters. Now it's time for the worst part, in my opinion, shaping. Guys, I hate shaping. I'm not gonna lie, I hate shaping. My arm gets like burnt out. I have to literally carry my arm out the door with me because it's like so much elbow grease to shape, in my opinion. It's not bad. It's really not bad. I'm exaggerating it. I'm just being a crybaby. But whatever. Moving forward, we're going in with some shaping. I'm using a 80/80 grit file. I used to not like the half moon files, but now I'm really a fan of them. Some people use the square files or the more smaller square files, but I like the wide half moon files. And you just want to make sure that you're tucking that file right where the sidewall is to contour that shape again, making sure that you're keeping that shape nice and tight. You want to make sure you're shaping as if you're like going in a straight line. You don't want to move too out of place because it definitely will misshape the nails. Also with coffin, you want to make sure, especially square, you want to make sure that you're not over shaping. Honestly, with all shapes of nails, you want to make sure that you're not over shaping because your stilettos can become way too pointy and slender. Your coffins can turn into stilettos almost, and then your squares can turn into coffins. So you just want to make sure that you're being mindful as you're shaping to just stop for a quick second and look at the nail to see the progress that you made as you're going along. Now, the more that you get in the habit and the routine of doing nails, the more all of these steps will just flow like butter, I promise. But you definitely want to make sure that you're stopping and taking a look at your work. So now we're going in with my handy dandy carbide bit. I do not know where I would be without her. Literally, my carbide bit saves my life, and it gets me finish filing in half of the time. Carbide bits have little teeth on them, so it makes it way easier in cutting that acrylic down and filing the acrylic down than a sanding band or a diamond bit would. They also come in fine, medium, coarse, extra coarse, even up to 5x coarse grits as well. However, when finish filing, I like to use a fine or a medium grit. So I'm just starting at the cuticle area. I like to make sure that I keep everything nice and tight as far as the shape goes. So I'm starting with going around the cuticle area very carefully. Remember guys, this bit is sharp and it does have little teeth on it, so it can cut your client. You want to make sure that you're taking your time. Now, I have been doing nails for 10 plus years, so I make it look like a breeze, but your nail drill will skip. it would do a little thing where it'll kind of skip and roll over the nail. And that can happen because either A, you know, you're a beginner and you really don't know how to handle the drill, or you have it turned up too high, or you have it turned up too low. Me personally, I like to use my nail drill at 19 RPM, maybe even 20. Some people, you may need to go a little lower. You might have to use 15 RPM. Some people, they're way more advanced than I am and they can do 30 RPM. But for these purposes, for finish filing and smoothing out the acrylic, I personally use 19 RPM. Another important thing is that you want to make sure you're not over filing. You can definitely over file where you filed all of the acrylic off, or you filed the nail too thin, or you filed too much in one area and now you have like a dent, kind of like a pothole in the nail. And in those cases, I recommend that you just fill it back in with acrylic to make it nice and even, and so that it's a nice thickness. But you definitely just want to be mindful. I also recommend getting a very nice drill bit. Again, I understand that products can get expensive, but majority of the time you get what you pay for. In my experience, when I was starting out, I would order nail drills off of Amazon, and it's nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly fine. If you're a beginner and an Amazon drill is what you can afford, then no problem. Start with the Amazon drill and just work your way up. But I do recommend getting you a nice drill. Now, the nail drill that I use, I think it ran me about $280 to $300. However, my last drill that I had the same brand. I had that nail drill for about 4 years. So it lasted 4 years. Same with my gel lamp. My gel lamp ran me about $250, and I had that gel lamp for about 4.5 years. So sometimes when you pay for expensive products, they definitely will last you. But the more cheaper nail drills, they have a vibration in the handpiece, which can cause arthritis and carpal tunnel. Now, this isn't to scare anybody with getting a cheaper drill. It's not to scare anybody. If you're beginning and that's what you can afford, then by all means necessary, get what you can afford. But I definitely recommend that you save up, or even for a Christmas gift, ask a friend or a parent to invest in a nice nail drill. It'll definitely save you the time, the energy, and save you the longevity of using your hands. So now I'm going in with the fine grit sanding band just to smooth over the acrylic that I just filed. Sometimes you can leave little indents in the acrylic, and you just want to make sure that everything is nice and smooth before you apply polish. Now, you can also do this step with a buffer and with a hand file. However, sometimes buffers can skip over certain indents, so I recommend using a sanding band or a hand file. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for, we are going in with some gold polish for a background for the rhinestone nail. I love using the glitter background for a rhinestone nail. You can use a solid color, but I think the solid colors, it just takes away from the contrast of the stones. I think that glitter really brings out the contrast in the stones. So here I'm going to be using a lot of Sean Legend polishes. I love his brand. I really love his brand. I'm going in with his white, and look at how this looks after one coat, guys. This is literally only one coat. His application brush is just so perfect. It's literally rounded at the tip, and it has like kind of like a feathered kind of tip where it's not a lot of bristles at the tip, so you can literally go in and just glide around that cuticle area without getting anything on the cuticle. Do you guys see how I literally can just glide around that cuticle? Like, I love his polishes so much. Now I'm going in with this Sean Legend green. I'm not sure the name of this color, but I ran out of like that neon green, and I'm like, any polish I run out of, I'm replacing it with the Sean Legend brand because I just really love it that much. And then notice how every color of the polish, the bottle is that same color, and it's like true to color. Like the color of that bottle is literally the color of that polish. It's not a catfish at all. Now I'm being a little stingy with the polish on this brush, but even with me being stingy and not grabbing a lot of polish, look how easy it is to just glide this polish on the nail. And again, I'm just like tiptoeing and just Michael Jackson moonwalking around this cuticle area. I really love this brand. So as I said before in the video, this is a freestyle, meaning that my client gave me full creative control. And I love freestyles, especially with long nails, because I just get to just cut up. I get to just cut up on the nails and just do whatever it is that I want. Especially with this client, she really doesn't care what I do to her nails. Literally, I could do anything to her nails. She didn't care the color. She was just like, Mo, my nails are in your hands. Just make my nails look pretty. And as y'all can see, I definitely delivered. Okay, now let's talk nail art brushes. Now y'all see I got my little palette over there with the colors I'm going to be using, and I have 3 nail art brushes. I have a 15mm, a 7mm, and an 11mm. I usually go with my 15mm if I'm going to be doing line work. And now I'm just taking a small damping dish, putting my acetone in there because it's about to get real, y'all. It's about to get real. This is where the magic goes down. So on this nail, I'm doing kind of like a stained window glass kind of look. Like in churches, if you guys can see, sometimes they have like morals of Jesus or different things like that, and it's like a stained glass look. I'm kind of going to give this look on this finger using those colors below, that green, orange, pink, and then also that blue. And I think I'm going to add a little gold in there as well. So with your liner brushes, I cut some of my fibers off of my liner brushes just to make it a little thinner. I cut some of the bristles off just to make it a little thinner. Now you need expertise to do this because you cannot cut it enough and the liner brush won't make small lines, and then you can also cut it too much to where like you're not able to even use the brush anymore. You'll have to throw the brush away. But I perfected it. I learned how to contour my brushes. Everyone doesn't need to contour their brushes. That's just something that I do that works for me. So I'm just going in and making these little lines for the abstract art. This part is very therapeutic to me. I'm not gonna lie. Just drawing the lines wherever I want them to go and just being able to be free. And it's no kind of specific design she wants me to have, so it's just like I have full freedom and I'm just able to just let my brain run wild. So once I got everything outlined, I just went ahead and filled in some of those spaces with the different colors. And as you can see, it looks gorgeous. Now on this hand, I just went ahead and made different shapes in the different colors. And I'm going in with my black, that's also from Shine Legend, and my liner brush, and just outlining it, making some lines thicker than others, outlining certain shapes, and just going in and just bringing in some detail to this nail. So after I add the gold details, I'm going to be going in with the rhinestone gel opposed to a rhinestone glue. It just works for me better. I've used both and I've had great adhesion with both. However, I think that the gel is better for me. I think it's more durable. I think it lasts long. And my only issue with the glue is that sometimes it can cause your rhinestones to become like a chalky white kind of color. When I would put my glue down and lay my Swarovski crystals, I would see that they would have like a chalky look to them around the stones where the glue is, and I just didn't like that. It didn't look good. It didn't make the nails look clean, and I would have to find a way to remove that chalkiness. So the gel works perfect for me. Another thing that I like is that the gel dries with the UV or LED lamp, so I can literally maneuver the stones in any kind of way that I want until I put it in the gel lamp. With the nail glue, as you guys know, it air dries, so if you're not moving quick enough, the glue can dry up on you and you'll have to reapply more, which you can waste a lot of product doing that. But personally, I just love the rhinestone glue. And guys, here is the final look. These nails are absolutely gorgeous. She loved her nails. I did a full bling nail on those middle fingers, added some chunky charms, and I also added a charm on those ring fingers. Just absolutely gorgeous. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you guys also follow my nail page on Instagram and Twitter at mo__nails with the Z. See you guys soon. Bye.
I need you poolside, you've been on my mind. One if you won't mind,